What other game just lets you roll up on a state trooper and just... To be fair, we're already illegally street racing. Why not just add homicide to the list as well? Let's go ahead and run over pedestrians while we're at it. They're in the middle of the road. They're basically already asking for it. I love how they just bounce around like a bowling pin whenever you crash into them.
That's why you're a legend!
And if the police want to stop me, they're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, by hoping I get into a head-on collision with a random car. This is Road Rash 64, and it's one of the best N64 games you aren't playing. What's Road Rash 64? It's a motorcycle racing game. But unlike other racing games, Road Rash 64 lets you tase someone until they go into cardiac arrest. You can do a single race, or you can do what I did and choose big game mode. Enter your name and go ahead and pick a rider, but some of them are kind of creepy. I just chose this dude. Kind of looks like an out-of-shape Solid Snake. Anyway, pick a race and off you go. Obviously, the goal of this game is to come into first place, and also to kill as many people as you can. And if you're looking for a little bit of encouragement, don't worry. The game gives you a rap sheet after every race. If your list of crimes looks less like a rap sheet and more like a national tragedy, you know you're on the right path. And the game will toss some bonus cash your way as well. I love Road Rash 64. The controls are nice and simple. Accelerate, brake, and use the C buttons to both switch weapons and attack. Starting off, all you got is a Fred Flintstone club, but it's more than enough. I love how you swing so hard sometimes, they'll just pop off their bike and go flying in the air. It's like everyone's riding around with ejector seats or something. And some of the voice lines for when you knock people off their bikes are just absolutely hilarious. Just listen to these.
Now you listen to me, mister. I work for a living. And I mean real work, not writing down gobbledygook.
Either way, you're going to want to find a better weapon, which means you're going to have to do a little bit of off-roading to find them. Just look for the flashing whatever the these are. You'll start to notice them everywhere once you realize they exist. And don't worry about the race or crashing your bike. Once you have the weapon, you have it for good. And before you know it, you'll be beating everyone's asses with a goddamn pool stick. This is also how you find the coveted 4 times damage. The quad damage is ridiculous. You just wreck people with one swing. You are a fly swatter on a motorcycle, and everyone else is just a fly. You hit people so hard they fly forward on the track. Even the regular double damage pickup is crazy. This is such an amazing power-up. The real game changer for me is the taser. It makes this awesome static discharge sound every time you use it. I managed to glitch out and somehow grab it from this powerline platform. The taser is incredible. It single-handedly takes this game from great to amazing. And yeah, it's my favorite weapon in the game. Every time you tap someone with it, you send them into a seizure. They just stick their arms out and start jiggling. It's like they're possessed or something. And you can just keep tasing them. I tased this guy 6 times before ramming him off the road right before the finish line. And if you throw in a kick after tasing someone, you'll just send them straight off the road. I love it. Eventually, you win enough races to move on to the next level. But first, you gotta buy a sweet new ride. And you know what every new bike needs? How about an invitation from one of the in-game biker gangs? That's right, you can join a gang, and they have hilarious names like the Thrashers or the Rumblers. I'm almost certain this isn't how actual biker gangs work. I'm pretty sure once you agree to a payment plan with the bike dealership, you aren't approached by a Hell's Angel who is willing to give you the full protection of the gang for only $100. Whatever. It's awesome. Either way, the new bikes are way faster, and they handle a lot better too. And after the second set of stages, you can unlock an even faster bike. I went with this sweet pink one. The faster bikes are definitely harder to drive, but it's not that bad. Just remember to ease off the acceleration here and there. And that's the basic gameplay loop. Really, this game is just a blast to play. Road Rash 64 is chaos incarnate. Riders are flying off their bikes left and right. You're running over pedestrians while trying not to get busted by the cops. There's all sorts of crazy weapons you can try and find, and you never know what's going to happen in a race. Maybe an ambulance is just going to slam through half the racers. Or maybe you're just going to pop a wheelie and go do a ramp off of someone's car. Maybe a police cruiser is just going to run you over while you're in the middle of the road in a fetal position. Hell, you don't even know what's going to happen after the race. Maybe some jackass will slam into another racer while crossing the finish line. And I can't believe I got this one on footage. Look at this. I crossed the finish line, but the guy next to me gets clotheslined by a flying motorcycle. What the fuck is even going on? This game just has so much charm. Aside from people ragdolling all over the place, there's little touches of humor here and there. Like how when you win, your racer will just do some ridiculous dance. Yeah, don't bother stopping your bike. Just go ahead and start belly dancing. I don't even know what this dance is. What is this? Oh God, now I know. This is the dance the bushwhacker wrestlers did during the WWF. Yeah, those guys. I also like how when you lose, you get this crappy golf clap and a complimentary prize like assorted cheeses or pine-scented air freshener. Honestly, this game is just amazing. If you have any taste in games, you will play Road Rash 64. It is the distant year of 2006, and the world has been destroyed by a nuclear war. The survivors have formed different gangs and secured the remaining military vehicles. However, they are locked in eternal war against one another. It's up to you to set things right, or to fire off another nuclear bomb.
Nuke deployed. Friendly fire.
This is Battletanx Global Assault, and it's one of my favorite games from my childhood. And it should be pretty obvious why. This is a game about driving different kinds of tanks and using them to blow up other tanks.
What are you drawing? A robot with guns for arms, shooting a plane made out of guns that fires guns?
It's a very simple game, yes, but that's why I like it. It cuts straight to the point. But maybe you're the type of person that wants a narrative. Maybe you want to be tucked in nice and tight and read a bedtime story. Well, guess what? You're in luck. Because Battletanx has a campaign as well. And it has some of the best/worst, so bad it's good writing I have ever seen. My name is Griffin Spade, Battle Lord. Maybe you've heard of me. After the apocalypse, I led an army across the U.S. to rescue my wife. Now we rule San Francisco, and we have a baby boy. We're doing the best we can to make the world a better place. I love it. The campaign itself is pretty good too. It's a nice bite-sized adventure with a lot of action thrown in. There's a whole lot of enemies that you gotta kill, and it can be pretty tough at times, but usually that's because you end up blowing yourself up. There's a lot of different things you can blow up, like gas stations and stuff like that, and if you're not far enough away, they're taking you out with them. But really, the star of the show are the cutscenes, which get stupider and stupider as the game goes on. We made the right choice to leave. It was the only way to avoid fighting our own people. But how did that Queen Lord hypnotize our own warriors? I don't understand it, but somehow I could feel her take over their minds. We have to stop her somehow. My favorite part of Battletanx is the multiplayer. 4 players at once. But you can also sub in computer opponents instead, so you can fight against the bots if you want. The multiplayer is just so good. First off, there's all sorts of different tanks you can use in the multiplayer mode. Like a flamethrower tank, or a missile launcher, or the humongous Goliath tank. You can be a tank that just barrel rolls everywhere if you want. There's just so many different vehicles you can choose from. And unlike the campaign, you get to pick which gang you want to play as. And every gang has their own suite of tanks to choose from, along with a special weapon that they're guaranteed to spawn with. There's also a ton of different modes for the multiplayer. There's the usual suspects like Deathmatch or Capture the Flag, but you also have some really unique modes like Convoy, where one team has to escort a fleet of trucks across the map, and the other has to try and stop them. My favorite mode is Tank Wars. You see, in every other mode in Battletanx, each player only controls one tank at a time. Capture the Flag gives you your own base with a Goliath to protect it, which is pretty cool, but it's still essentially only one tank per player. But in Tank Wars, every player spawns in with 3 AI teammates that also respawn. So it just ends up being a massive battle where you can have like 20 tanks at once or something. It's basically Tank Ragnarok. And while the N64 probably isn't prepared or equipped to handle it, I still appreciate that the game lets you go for it. There's a lot of instances where you can just spawn in and instantly die, but it's just a fun, clumsy mess, and I love it. This is just a simple and fun game, and the multiplayer customization options is pretty much unheard of for a console game from this generation. I think as long as you remember that this is a Nintendo 64 game, you won't be disappointed. The game's also available on the PlayStation 1, but that version has some serious frame rate issues. But it does have FMV cutscenes that are absolutely even better / even worse than what the Nintendo 64 version has. Is there anything more sacred than the love between a dog and a sheep? I don't think so. It's as pure as it gets. Oh man, here comes the magic moment. Way to go, buddy. You two make such an adorable... Oh my god! Don't worry, I can fix this. I'll just possess his dead body. It's sort of like a horror movie. Come on, Flossie. Don't you recognize me? The trauma is too much for her. Widows make me sad, so let's just put her down. I might as well take over her body, too. You know what? I'm starting to like Silicon Valley. Some days you drag race against a cyborg dog, and other days you hit the ramps as a walrus. Oh look, another free body. Don't mind if I do. This is Space Station Silicon Valley. It's a puzzle platformer. Nothing too crazy. You push the blocks, you do the jumps, you pull the levers, and you carpet bomb the family of walrus who are holed up in an igloo. The usual stuff. The platforming is all well and good, but let's be honest with each other. You play this game for the unique body swapping mechanic. And the animal violence. That's the best part. You think this seagull is just gonna let you take control of him? Hell no. You gotta whoop his ass as a husky. I prefer the breed with anti-air missiles equipped. You know, thoroughbred. And honestly, the more one-sided animal fights are, the better. You think this fish stands any chance against my penguin? It can't even attack. All it can do is helplessly swim around while I pelt it with snowballs. I'm like the school bully. But I have to kill it. I need it to belly flop onto the shore to reach this dead walrus. And I need the walrus to push these blocks into place so my penguin can get across the river. It's called puzzle solving. And you'll be doing a lot of it in this game. The puzzles are mostly logic based. AKA, they make you feel like an idiot for not being able to solve them. For example, the hyena can jump. Easy enough. But it can also send other animals into a fit of laughter and lock them in place. So in order to reach this ledge, you need to lock the elephant down nearby and use it like a stepladder. Only the vulture can get across this pit of spikes, but there's scorpions on the other side that you need to kill. Unfortunately, the vulture sucks ass in combat, so you actually use the vulture to ferry over a different dead animal and then swap bodies with it. Now you can wreck the scorpions. The stages are nice and open too. Every animal gets its 15 minutes of fame. Sometimes you need something that can swim, and other times an animal's small size will let it access different parts of the level. Just swinging on a rope is exclusive to the gorilla, and this plays well into the game's collectathon elements. Getting every orb on a stage will require a lot of exploration and using lots of different animals, which means a lot of dead bodies. You might think it's cruel to murder animals, especially when it's only to do something simple like pushing a button or moving a boulder, but let's set the record straight. Nature is f***ing evil. Animals are always using some crazy strategy in order to kill each other. Some of them are evolved for it. It might make them look like morons because of it, but rest assured, it's a priceless evolutionary step towards being an asshole to a different animal. And sometimes killing just isn't enough. They take it a step further by laying eggs in their prey or keeping them paralyzed. God damn. Space Station Silicon Valley lets you live that fantasy. I'm pretty sure turtles don't normally have a fucking howitzer cannon attached to their shells, and I don't think they sit by the lake and take pot shots at piranha like I am here. I like desert foxes, but I don't recall them carrying pistols, and I've never seen one gun down a camel. And penguins don't deploy miniature parachutes, though it is pretty adorable. And don't think the animals won't use dirty tactics against you. These robotic rats leave little piles of shit everywhere. They blow up like landmines when you step on them. That's already bad enough. But look at this. I'm trying to get past this gauntlet of rolling boulders, but the one rat is guarding the last one. He runs up, takes a dump in front of me, and then scoots back to guard the other side of the boulder's path. And when I try to make a run for it, he scoots up, blocks me, and lays down another pile of poop. What the f*** is this? This is like when you try to guard the edge of the stage in Smash Brothers. So of course I get impatient and die. But honestly, the rat was trying to do me a favor, because when I did make it across as a sheep, it's just two f***ing grizzly bears waiting to kick my ass. The animals in this game are vicious. Even the developer's logo gets attacked by a pack of stray dogs. But that animal hierarchy is what makes this game fascinating. You're only as strong as the animal you possess. If you're a weak animal, you are A goat seems strong, at least until you realize that it's a fox's So does that mean foxes are awesome? Not when you run into a gorilla, they aren't. Then it becomes survival horror. You really gotta be underhanded at times. As a mouse, there's no way I can kill this robotic dog. I can't even hurt it. And killing the grizzly bear is never gonna happen. But if you lure them next to each other, you can just sit back and let nature take its course. Take that, you stupid dog. That's what you get for killing the developer's logo. Now I'm free to dart in and steal the body. Space Station Silicon Valley is timeless. Even animals that aren't killing machines are a lot of fun to play. Soaring over the level you beat as a bird or a propeller rabbit is just fun. And there's all sorts of wacky to see in this game, like a machine that turns mice into rats, or a squadron of dog biplane hybrids, or the Rat King. This game has a lot of charm. The introduction is genuinely hilarious, but sadly, it's the only representation you get of the two main characters, Dan and Evo. I like Dan. He looks like someone who still goes bowling. The missions are not only completely disconnected from each other, but also disconnected from reality. I don't think you can call these missions. It's more like schizophrenic orders you're given. Get a husky. Play our song on a keyboard. Get me something soft and fluffy to hug. It's a great game, and you should play it. Really, you should play all 3 of these Nintendo 64 games because they're awesome. And guess what? If you happen to be near Merritt Island, Florida, you can come in and check out our used video game store right here in the Merritt Square Mall. Stop on by, pick up a game, and say hi. Until next time, guys.